Hi guys, welcome back to 100% Mags. So this is the preview for the game against Manchester City. But before I get into that, of course, I do want to pay my respects to a good friend of mine who passed away recently, Stephen Fleetley. You might know who Stephen Fleetley is, of course, if you watch the channel on a regular basis. He is one of the Arsenal lads that I got to come on the channel, of course, Luca being the other one. And of course, Stephen Fleetley passed away, unfortunately, in the early hours of Monday morning. So I do want to pay my respects, of course, to his family and to Stephen Fleetley, of course, and share my condolences with them in what is clearly a very difficult time at the moment. Stephen Fleetley, of course, suffered with a rare liver condition, which of course he was suffering from 2 years old with that, and he was, of course, doing donations for that, and supporting that charity as well. So if you can, please do go and make a donation to, of course, the charity that Stephen worked with, in his life. You will find it, of course, on his Twitter account. Go over there, press on that link, and make a donation if you can to help support people who are going through exactly the same thing as poor Stephen did. But with that being said, let's get into, of course, the preview for the game against Manchester City. This is going to be an interesting game now because we know what happened in the reverse of this game earlier in the season. At St James's Park, we came away from this game 3-3 against Manchester City. Now, that is absolutely amazing when you consider how the game played out. However, we went 1-0 down in the game, coming back to 3-1 up in the game. Then Man City managed to somehow grab 2 goals in the game and come away with a draw. So, if they hadn't grabbed them 2 goals in the game, we would have come away from that game as the winners against Manchester City, who are, the defending Premier League champions this season. The way they are performing this season as well, they are currently second in the league with 55 points. Newcastle at one point were above them in the season. We were actually above them in the league. And we're heading down to the Etihad, 12:30 kickoff this Saturday. 3,000 Newcastle fans will be travelling down there to support Eddie and the lads and get behind the team. And, we need to get back to winning ways, especially after that weekend just gone there. We were in our first final in 24 years, and the support was absolutely amazing. That went down to London, to cheer on the lads, get behind the team. Over 100,000 Newcastle fans went into the capital this weekend just gone, and it was absolutely amazing to see that kind of support behind the team. But I'm not surprised, because I know how fantastic our fan base is and what our fan base is. When we get behind the team, we support our team through and through. And the scenes, that you might have seen on the video, of Newcastle United taking over London. The scenes were absolutely fantastic, seeing so many Newcastle fans packed into Trafalgar Square on the Saturday night. Then the scenes of so many Newcastle fans walking up Wembley Way, it was just made, for Newcastle to come away from that final as the winners. But unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. It wasn't our time to do it. But we will be back there, that was not the final. That was only the beginning. We've only just begun. And the words, said by Amanda Staveley and the owners after that game as well will echo very, very far through our fan base. With Amanda Staveley coming out saying they want to win the League Cup, they want to win the FA Cup, they want to win the Premier League, they want to win the Champions League. And that, for me, just shows the ambition and the passion that Amanda Staveley and the rest of the owners have for Newcastle United. They just get us. Gadassi and Jamie Rubin were there undercover in Trafalgar Square as well on the Saturday night. That you just would never ever see that by any other owners, but we've got to go into this game now on Saturday. This is the only focus left now, is the Premier League. We need to go into this game on Saturday, 12:30 kickoff against Manchester City at the Etihad, or as some people like to call it, the Empty-Had. And we'll go into this one live on BT Sport for this one. Going into it, of course, sitting fifth in the table, 4 points behind Spurs. 2 games in hand on Spurs, as well as we've got that game what had to be rearranged for the final, which was the Brighton game. That's still to be announced when that game will be played. But what other game in hand, West Ham has been rearranged, and it has been announced as well when we will be playing that game. So, it's only a matter of time now with the way we play that, we're going to be getting that Champions League football. I think we will get Champions League football this season. Looking at the squad that we've got available as well now to push on for the rest of this Premier League. We've got Nicky Pope back in there because he served his suspension, which was, of course, only the League Cup game that he was suspended for. Anthony Gordon's available as well because he wasn't able to play in the League Cup because he was cup tied. Martin Dubravka's available off of the bench as well if we do need him. The only player out of the Newcastle team to actually pick up a winner's medal from that League Cup as well because of his loan with Mania. But, there's fitness doubts going into this game as well. There's fitness doubt over Bruno, who seemed to have picked up a little niggle on his ankle, but we've already seen this season, that Bruno picked up a niggle on his ankle and he was straight back into action. So I think, it'll be a similar thing again, because we definitely need Bruno to be in midfield for this game. We definitely need Bruno to be fit for the rest of the season as well, because when Bruno's in that midfield, he does open the passing lanes. He does find ways to get, the likes of Maxi in there, Miggy in there, Isak in there, Wilson in there. He just seems to have a way of finding the ball through the pass and getting it right into where we need it to score the goal. We're creating chances, we're just not putting them away, and that has been a bit of a worry of late. That has been the problem for of late. We are creating the chances, we're just not putting it in the back of the net and converting it, and that's what we need to do. We need to start converting the chances if we are going to be serious in getting that Champions League football for next season. Bare minimum, we should be looking at, Europa League football next season. Anything less than that, and it's just taking the piss, really, to be honest. Pardon me French on that. But we do definitely need to be looking at Champions League football, bare minimum Europa League football for next season. But there is a boost for going into it, of course, as well, because Man City have just played an FA Cup game last night. They came away 3-0 winners in a game against, of course, Championship side Bristol City, who are 13th in the Championship, and Man City were only 1-0 up right the way till about the 70-odd minute mark before they eventually scored a second goal in the game. So that is a massive boost for us going into the game. Of course, they had the likes of Kevin De Bruyne playing in that game, Foden playing in the game, Grealish playing in the game. They had pretty much an entire first team bar Haaland playing in the game against a 13th place side of Bristol City, which is just absolutely crazy that they were only 1-0 up all the way until the 70th minute, until they made it, 2, then 3. So that is a massive boost for us going into this game. The referee for the game will be Simon Hooper. It's his third out in this season, officiating over Newcastle games. Of course, he was the referee for the start of the season in our 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest. He also presided over the game against Leeds United in that 0-0 draw as well at St James's. And Michael Salisbury will be the referee on VAR. Hopefully he'll do a much better job than what Peter Banks did at the weekend there in the League Cup final. As I've got to say, he did an absolutely shocking job in the VAR booth once again. And, it just never seems to surprise us with Peter Banks. He's always very one-sided against Newcastle, same as David Coote. You know, every time them two guys are involved in our games, they always seem to be very controversial. You know, they really do have to stop getting them people who, you know, officiate our games, because they are very one-sided. It's clear that there's an agenda against Newcastle when they are involved as well. But again, you know, I'm not surprised. The guy that picks these people now, you know, is Howard Webb. We all know what he was like as an official, with his dodgy decisions, you know, when he was officiating over many games as well. But the last Newcastle keeper to keep a clean sheet against Man City in the Premier League was Steve Harper. Of course, back in November 2006 in a 0-0 draw at the Etihad. City have netted at least once in all 28 subsequent home and away meetings in this competition against us as well. And of course, we will be having our 18th PL visit to this venue on Saturday, where of course we have lost all but two of them, both ending in draws. You know, success, of course, came back in the League Cup. Of course, that was our sole success in this game against Manchester City. Eddie Howe's side will be seeking to halt a sequence of 13 league losses as well since a 0-0 draw back in 2006. So hopefully, you know, Newcastle can do something in this game on Saturday. I'm hoping for Newcastle to come away with 3 points in this game on Saturday, you know, to get back to winning ways. We need to start getting them performances going and getting the confidence back into the lads as well, you know, because we need to now focus entirely on the league. That is all we've got left to focus on. There's no more cups for this season. We need to be focusing on the league. Our focus now is to get Champions League football, or bare minimum Europa League football for next season. That is the focus. The higher we finish, the better it is, because it means that we can then spend more money when it comes to the summer transfer window, which we desperately need to go out there and get in a proven goal scorer, somebody that can bang in, you know, 20 to 30 goals in a season for it. We definitely need to bring in some other players as well, you know, in maybe the winger department, to help with there. We definitely need to be bringing in a few different players in different areas, which, you know, the owners will do in the summer window, but we need to finish as high as possible to allow for a big spend in that summer window, so that propel ourselves further forward in a much shorter space of time. Look at what we've done, you know, in just over a year. You know, we've been in a League Cup final, and we have got a absolutely fantastic position in the league, you know, so we definitely need to invest heavily in the summer to be able to push on even further from this. But I'm going to go with Newcastle come away from this one on the end of I'll say a 1-0 win against Manchester City. If we can do that, that would be fantastic. Failing that, however, I would love to see Newcastle come away with at least a point from this game. We definitely need to be picking up points. We can't be losing, but it will be a tough one, of course, going to the Etihad against Manchester City. It's never an easy area to go and play them, of course. With out the past 3 games we've played there, 2 of them have been 5-0 defeats, so that doesn't bode well for it. But of course, you know, we are a different team now. We've got a fantastic manager in Eddie Howe who knows what he's doing. We've got a brilliant bunch of players there as well who know what they're doing. So if we could see something similar to what we're seeing earlier in the season at St James's Park, you know, with a draw, then that would be fantastic. But I'd love to see we come away with the 3 points, even more so because, you know, 3 days later is my birthday on the 7th of March. So I would love to see, you know, Newcastle give us an early birthday present, you know, heading into that birthday. But let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, remember, like, share, subscribe to 100% Max, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, the lads.